Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to another video here on Cluiche with me, Seamus Brady, host, and I'm joined once again by Luke Peyton. We are going to run through all of the action which came over the weekend in the club championships, and then also, Luke, we're going to touch on the All Stars as well, which happened. We're going to give our immediate reaction to the awards that were given out. Were they worthy? Everything like that. But in general, what did you make of the weekend? Another busy weekend of action.
Yeah, busy weekend, tough conditions, kind of impacted a few of the games. Wasn't the highest scoring weekend ever, but yeah, I think the conditions did kind of keep it low scoring, but a few very dramatic games, and another kind of influential weekend. I suppose got some big results in particularly Munster hurling, Connacht football, and Leinster football, I'd say.
Yeah, no, without doubt. And we are going to start, as I said, with the GA Weekly News here on Cluiche. So we're going to take a look at all of the different things which happened over the weekend. So obviously the main one is the official PwC GAA All Stars for 2023. And obviously you've seen the team. Was there any person on the team that you were surprised to see included? Obviously, I was kind of pleasantly surprised that Enda Smith was included. Obviously, that's the first time since 2010 that a non-quarter finalist reached an All-Star award.
Yeah, no, I think that was probably the one that caused most of the debate and most of the consternation. Really, a lot of I think most people were kind of pointing to that one. Maybe I think might have been the call. The other one, maybe some people were saying Jason Foley could have got in, maybe maybe could have got in there over McCluskey. Other calls, maybe you could say Paul Mannion could have got in over Enda Smith or Sean O'Shea, maybe. But beyond that, I don't really see a whole lot else arguing for. Some people were saying Shane Ryan, but I'd have had Cluxton myself. But I think other than that, I think the only two that are unfortunate, really, well, the two main ones that are unfortunate would be Foley and Mannion, I'd say. But no, other than that, I think some people were saying Costello, but wouldn't be for me. Maybe I think it's fair. I think it's fair enough. I think the football. I think it was the grand team, and then if you look at the hurling as well, personally would agree with 14 out of 15 calls. I'd just be going Quaid over Murphy, but again, that was a 50-50, and I think either of them could have got it, and you'd be quite fine with it. So I think this year pretty clear cut year. It was in comparison to previous years where there's been a lot of debate over it. The hurling was a pretty clear cut all-star selection. I think the unfortunates there, Tony Kelly, TJ Reid was a bit of a toss-up. I think Tony Kelly's semi-final and Lockett performing in semi-finals is going to cost him in that until he does perform in one. But I think he was unfortunate with his general output in the year. It's just the fact that he was so anonymous in the semi-final. It really did cost him. And then other than that, Barry Nash as well was probably the other one in the corner. But other than that, I think it was a pretty clear-cut selection.
Yeah, no, that's the only change that I made. I had Dan Morrissey out and I had Barry Nash in, and that's the only difference to my All-Star hurling team than the one that was selected. For the football, I did have Paul Mannion in and Enda Smith out, and I had Shane Ryan in and Stephen Cluxton out. So interesting enough that everyone kind of has their own opinions, but I feel like we in our All-Star team anyway came quite close to it. Now, I'd be very, very interested to get your opinion on this. Very, very interested to see if you agreed with this decision. So obviously, Footballer of the Year was 2023. It was David Clifford once again. So with this, David Clifford has made history. He's become the first player to do back-to-back Player of the Year awards in men's Gaelic football. Do you think he deserved it? He was up for it with Brendan Rodgers and Brian Fenton, but he came out on top.
Yeah, it's a tough one this year, I think, to have picked the Footballer of the Year, because I don't think Dublin had a standout player this year, as the All Ireland winners. Clifford was clearly Kerry's best player, but was it his best season? No, it wasn't. It wasn't his best season. His final was probably a little bit below his usual standards, and then I'd say in the Munster Championship, he didn't really kind of set it on fire. He had a few really, really good games in between there and then. But if you compare his form this year to last year, Like he had a way better season last year, and you could argue, I'd say, I think he's played pretty better for his club, and he's played better outside of Kerry, I think, this year. So yeah, no, look, I think Brendan Rodgers is a good shout. I think if he got to a final, I think he probably would have won it. But like I think playing for a Derry side that weren't probably a little bit off winning All Ireland probably didn't help him. And yeah, to be honest, outside of that, like you could pick about 4 or 5 Dublin players. Like I think there was a lot of calls for the James McCarthy, but that does feel like it would have been a bit of a legacy award. Other people you could have had up there, maybe Basquel could have nominated Basquel. Yeah, but beyond that, I think Basquel, maybe Cluxton. That's the only ones I can really think of outside of that.
Do you think Brian Fenton deserved to be one of the 3 nominees?
I wouldn't have had him myself now. I think he's been consistent and he's been good, but like I didn't think he was a Player of the Year nominee now. I think he's fair enough for his All-Star, but I didn't think he was a Player of the Year. I think the other players, I think Cluxton and Basquel had more influential years for Dublin, but like, yeah, no, I think I think based on all that, due to the lack of an outstanding candidate, and it's just there's no one really else that like is banging the door down. You could say McGuigan and Rodgers had really good years, but like maybe they just needed that one more game to be fully like favourites for. So based on that, like even despite I don't think it was his best year for Kerry, I still think I think it's probably fair enough that Clifford got it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that statement. Anyway, I personally would have probably leaned towards Brendan Rodgers. I know that out of the 3, I would have given it to Brendan Rodgers, but it's a difficult one, and I did find that when I was even thinking about who I would personally give it to. It's hard because, as you said, there's nobody who's head and shoulders above the rest. They all seem to be fairly even. The Young Footballer of the Year, we'll touch on this quickly, was Derry's Ethan Doherty. He had a fantastic year for Derry. I think he's a worthy recipient of the award this year.
Yeah, no, I think so. And like he's been on the go a long time. Made his name mostly with the Glen, I think, as well, and then it's really grown into the Derry team too. I do think a big part of it is factoring in his club achievements as well, because he's a key player for the Glen. So I think based off all that, I think it's a pretty fair award.
Yeah, no, congratulations to Ethan Doherty on that award. Also, the other All Stars over the weekend. We have 2 more to briefly touch through. The GPA Hurling All Stars for 2023, and again, we did touch on this. We said the only change we would make would probably putting Barry Nash in. You said that you would have had Nicky Quaid over Owen Murphy, but so we've ran through the team. We're going to now obviously take a look at, the main decision. The main event obviously was the Hurler of the Year that was announced. So obviously this was Aaron Gillane was announced as 2023's Hurler of the Year. So the Patrick Swell man becomes the 3rd hurler from that Patrick Swell team to win the Hurler of the Year award. Absolutely incredible achievement for that club. But I thought this one was a slam dunk. This one, Aaron Gillane, in my opinion, was the standout hurler in 2023 and is fully deserving of that award.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think, I think that was an much more obvious one as well. Like some good other candidates in the Limerick team that you could have given it to. I think, like, obviously, I think Owen Cody had a great year as well, but like, I think this was pretty clear cut that, personally for me, I think it could have only really been Aaron Gillane, but I think he's been, and I think he deserves it based as well on what we've seen from him in previous years, that he's kind of sometimes been unfortunate with All Stars if he's missed a game through suspension or he's missed something like that that's kind of impacted him before, and he probably was unfortunate last year to not win the Hurler of the Year too. So I think that's a really really obvious Hurler of the Year. I think you look back at some of the key games where he was just unmarkable really, and like you think back to the Munster final, like I don't think I've ever seen a corner forward give a cornerback such a rough time in a Munster final like that. It was absolutely slaughter in that game, and then particularly the Galway game as well. I thought he really shone in that game too. So it has to be Aaron Gillane for me.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And we'll quickly touch on the other hurler of the year, of course, which was the Young Hurler of the Year 2023, Mark Rogers from Clare. Again, I think this one is a very fair decision.
Yeah, I disagree personally. I thought Rogers was really, really good. I thought he was really, really good. Particularly, his best game is definitely against Dublin as well, where he hit 111, I think it was, and 6 of them were frees. So like 1-5 in play is pretty great tally. He did play well, even in the semi-final. He had his moments against Kilkenny, but like I disagree just on the basis that I think Cathal O'Neill, like although he didn't start for Limerick, I just thought his contributions for Limerick were huge, and when he was needed as well. Like you think about, he started the first couple of games, got good scoring tallies in that as well. Came off the bench against Cork when they really needed him, and he absolutely grabbed that game by the scruff, where he scored 2 points. I'd say there's a big argument to make that without Cathal O'Neill's contributions and that Limerick could have not got a result against Cork and not come through Munster even as well. So like you see his contributions there. He came off the bench against Clare in the Munster final, and then both the semi and the final, scores every single time. I just think I think just based on his importance, I'd be going to Cathal O'Neill. And I just think I think when you think about it in another way, if he played, I'd be fairly confident that if he was from any other county in the country, he'd start centre forward for them. So like he's just unbelievable talent.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's an outstanding hurler. I personally would have leaned towards Mark Rogers. I think he's probably more important to Clare than Cathal O'Neill is to Limerick. But yeah, I think either of them would have been worthy recipients anyway. Now, the final All-Stars, which took place over the weekend, was the TG4 and Little LGFA All-Stars. This happened on the Sunday night. We've seen the All-Star team as well. Are there any changes you personally would have made to it? Like, I personally was fairly happy with that selection. Any ones that jumped out off the sheet to you?
Yeah, no, much the same. Like obviously, based off like there'll be people that'll be more knowledgeable about it than me. But anyway, like from what I've seen as well, again, like it's similar to the football and the hurling. Like there, wouldn't say that there's anybody that's like glaringly obvious for me as well. I think it's a pretty fair selection. I think the All-Star panel had an easier job this year in comparison to previous years. But like at the same time, there will be people that be they'll have a lot more passionate kind of stronger opinions on it than me, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. And we'll touch on, of course, what was the Senior Player of the Year award. And this was Louise Emer-Hertig that was given to her. Her performance in the final wasn't as great as obviously her standards are, but she is, in my opinion, the best inside forward in the country. Like, she scored a goal and 10 against Mayo in the semi-final. Absolutely outstanding individual display. And, for Louise, she is the best forward in the country, in my opinion, and fully deserving of this Player of the Year award at the senior level. Do you think this is a worthy recipient?
Yeah, no, I do actually think that's pretty slam dunk as well. And that, like, she's just been nearly on her own a little bit when it comes to corner forward play for the last while. Like just like you look at the Clifford's dominance as well. Like she is the answer to Clifford as well, and it's just like an outrageously talented footballer. So I think no qualms about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that she's the worthy recipient and absolutely slam dunk, as you said there. We'll touch on the other two quickly here. The Intermediate Footballer of the Year was Roisin Byrne from Kildare, and the Junior Footballer of the Year was Natasha Harris from County Down. So big congratulations to both of those on achieving those outstanding awards. That's it. And I thought it would be fitting, just because that we touched on at the start the All-Stars that happened across the weekend. I thought it would be fitting to put Beth Carton in this episode as well, just to remember that she is the Camogie Player of the Year for 2023. Beth Carton had an outstanding year for Waterford. The final, she was very much leading the fight, even though Cork completely had them figured out. She was still outstanding on the day, led the way throughout the entire year. Waterford made history this year. Even if the final didn't go their way on the day, she was outstanding, and she was an absolute worthy recipient of Player of the Year.
Yeah, no, look, absolutely. And I completely agree with everything you said there as well. And yeah, look, like you said as well, performance at the weekend as well, showing why she is kind of as good a player as everybody says.
But that's it, yeah. Like, and I mean, with 1-9 to her name, reminding us why she is the Player of the Year. And I just thought it would be fitting that on a weekend where all of the other Players of the Year were announced, that we remember the other person who got the Player of the Year as well. But yeah, that is the episode finished. We will be going on to GAA Fan TV as well, so make sure you check out that episode too. And until the next one, guys, here on Cluiche, we will be back again next week. Take care.